Oh, that's right. Only on YouTube.
Only
So
on
no,
YouTube today.
literally no one will be watching this to start it off because we get all the stuff from Twitter usually. Because people know we go live. Let's fix that though.
Okay, YouTube's good to go.
Alrighty.
Is it
Tweet this out.
is it showing for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's on YouTube. It's looking great. All right, let's tweet it out. Let's get some retweets going, and then
Yeah, let's retweet this, John.
rock and roll.
They found something.
Mmm. Mmm. They sure have found something.
All right, let's see the chats real quick. We may never lose again. Back-to-back large margin wins, different team. Glad to see our defensive identity come into form at the right time. A loss tomorrow wouldn't even be that bad, in my opinion. We'll get into that. Unless Kentucky goes on a crazy kind of run. I was happy to see that the foul differential was 6-0 with us in the lead. The refs came through, evened it up, and we beat them by 20.
Yeah, that's actually a great point.
All right, people, get in this chat.
Welcome, folks. Welcome. Let's do this thing.
All righty. Okay. All right. Good to go. Let us do this thing.
We may never lose again.
You ready, Chase?
Flip around. I'm ready. Let's do this. Come on.
All right. 3, 2, 1. We're live. We're live right now on the Field of 68 Podcast Network YouTube channel. We are not live on X right now. There are some technical difficulties going on outside of our control. Call Elon Musk. That's not our problem. Anyhow, BYU smokes West Virginia. Win by 20, 68-48. Chase, initial thoughts.
Yeah, man. Holding a team to 48 points is really, really, really impressive and awesome. And it's exactly what BYU needed at this point in the season. And again, I know it was West Virginia. They're one of the worst offenses in the conference. You gave up 79 to them the last time you played in a loss in Morgantown. So 31-point difference is significant in my mind. Obviously, BYU really figured some stuff out with Kansas State without Rob Wright. And then today they were able to replicate it in a very real way. Held West Virginia to 38% from the field, only 28% from three. Gave up 18 free throws. West Virginia only made 11 of those, so that definitely helped. And then again, 48 points for this team is really, really awesome stuff. It's improvement if nothing else. And I was really happy to see, a lot of talk was, are we better without Rob Wright? This was replicable with Rob Wright in the game. Like the lineup, the unlocking of Diamande, the unlocking of Boop really playing more than 20 minutes, and also for Moo Davis to kind of figure some things out has all contributed to this. And they can do it with Rob Wright playing point guard and continuing to consistently score points and handle pressure and all this stuff. It's funny that it's taken it this long. But here we are, man, and we're talking ourselves into like maybe they got something here.
I think they did figure out something tonight. They did look like they had something. It was interesting because I felt like this is the first time in a very, very long time, maybe all season at this point, honestly, that it felt like, even in Kansas State yesterday, like everything still felt easy for Kansas State for 70% of that game, 75% of that game. almost at no point today did it look easy for West Virginia on the offensive end. BYU's defense was swarming today.
Swarming. I mean, it's really come down to they've decided to throw whatever, like what was happening with the defense. I don't want to put a label on it, but they just went so simple with it and just decided, hey, let's slap the floor. We're going to man up. We're going to switch everything. We're long and athletic enough to do it. We trust our bigs 30 feet away from the basket. And look what it's done. And it helps when you have these bigs that are this athletic and this good. When you have, when your front court is Keba Keita and Hideen Boop, like, yeah, you can switch everything, man. And that becomes absolutely just diabolical to mess with as an offense, especially when we're West Virginia, where they don't have like a ton of great scores. Obviously, they gave Huff fits after he killed BYU, and the reason they were able to is because of that length and size on the perimeter. It's not going to necessarily work when Bito's out there playing, but other than that, man, like this is a lineup that across the board can just switch everything, and it's completely revolutionized it. Because before it was you set a ball screen on BYU, and hello 2 points or a wide open three, take your pick, like congratulations, you just scored the basket. And now instead of just trying to do this hedging, they're trying to keep the match, they're just like, screw it, man, like set a ball screen, we're just going to straight up switch, which is what they do in the NBA. And sometimes they hunt for matchups, but there is no matchups really for this BYU team, especially because there's no great front court scorers that they're facing. Like this is a legitimate like strategy that they've really figured out, and it's turned into two of the better defensive performances of the season.
Yeah, with the switch, I mean, with everybody being able to switch on defense too. Even when Rob Wright gets switched on to a mismatch where you've got like a 6'9" guy and they're trying to post up on Rob, they got him once in this game, but then every other time that happened, you would see either Diamande or Boop flying over to get, hey, switch back, or flying over to help him. There was always a help defender there. Everybody was playing with effort. Everybody was really playing together. The offense, look. Offense will figure itself out. Moo was awesome today. AJ was awesome today. West Virginia's a great defensive team, one of the best in the country. That doesn't really concern me. This is all about the defense. This is all about Diamande coming on. This is all about Boop bringing it once again. And most importantly, Moo Davis might have finally arrived.
It took you long enough. Moo Davis.
Like we've seen flashes, but this was his most efficient game by far. This was his best game in a BYU jersey all season long.
By far, 7 of 11 from the field, had 20 points, 5 of 6 from three. I mean, man, if he can keep doing something like that consistently, honestly, that's insane. So it won't keep up that consistent, but he's been hitting over 50% when they've needed him to. And so seeing him do that, obviously still plays amazing defense, 3 rebounds. And I love the way he's crashing the grass recently. I know it's not always like, it's not resulting in a ton, but just being there for it has led to some buckets, led to some big, double possessions there for the Cougs. Man, I still think the offense needs a little bit of help because they're just not good shooters. They get a lot of open looks. Shout out to Moo for finally pulling it to get together. But outside of him and Rob, you're really not finding someone. I mean, Kostic might just be a guy that's a little bit hot and cold at this point. Didn't even get a look from 3 today. And I still, according to my stats, I totally read it wrong. Yeah, he was 0 for 6
I was about to say, I was like, he definitely took a few threes.
That's what I thought when I was saying it.
You're getting your Boskoviches and your Kostiches mixed up. Yeah, Kostic got his fair share of looks today, and
he did 0 for 6.
They all felt like they hit the exact same part of the rim too.
Yeah, consistency, grouping. But also there needs to be more cuts to the basket on this team. Like when you have the gravity and weight that AJ DeBansta has, in West Virginia with like 10 minutes left was like, we're doubling this dude pretty much at half court. And they were already showing someone. And BYU still just has a habit of like, hey, throw both hands up. Hey, look, I'm open right here. It's like, cool. How about you be open, on the move towards the basket, getting the offense going. That's what Dom does so well from that dunker spot, is because he stands his role, knows he's not a shooter. So guess what? He runs to the basket. That's where you get those massive alley-oop dunks that happened twice tonight. One, it should have happened again. It's just a miscommunication on the pass. Like that's what BYU needs more of. Guys cutting to the basket. It's this is not a 3-point shooting team. And that's okay. There's other ways to win basketball games, and that's in the paint. And that's where BYU has always thrived. And so why not get everyone else on the action? Because when you're AJ, man, like he had 3 guys eyes attached to him pretty much at all times. Like the amount of opportunity for backdoor cuts and just finding open space is there for BYU. I need to see them do that more, but it's hard to complain. They just won by 20. So
Could you just hear the Florida State band outside here?
I could not.
Okay,
I wish I had.
because the whole time you're going there, just blaring music right now. So anyhow, but yeah, like I think that's a great point about seeing the back. I mean, we were calling for more backdoor cuts, more off ball movement, all season long, but especially
4 months ago.
during and then it's how refreshing is it to see a guy like Dominic Djemba where they finally look to him on a lob right there, and he's actually a lob threat. And honestly, AJ. This is extreme nitpicking on AJ Djemba, but he needs to be a half second quicker with these passes, and they'd be on the money every single time. They were great today, just a half second quicker. He almost like hesitates for a second. It's like, is he actually open? Just throw that sucker.
Yeah, it's like almost like he's calculating in his head, like, is it better for me to just take a jumper here?
Because
most of the time it probably is.
Yeah, because all season long it was, because all season long he's dishing out to guys and it's clank, and then he's like, wait, he can dunk that. He's wide open.
Yeah. We got to give a big shout out to Dom. It can't have been an easy season for him sitting there for the majority of these games and minutes and not getting an opportunity. And look, I have no idea what's up with the coaching staff. I don't know what practices. I'm going to go ahead and trust them on this and give them the benefit of the doubt. But you and I have been asking for some Dom for a while now and feel pretty vindicated.
Chase, I just re-downloaded Duolingo.
It's like we're learning French for this guy.
Bonjour, Jack, let's do this thing.
Jack threw out he's got the French Dom costume going. He completely has revolutionized both sides of the ball, because one, that dunker spot, the cutting, and if that's all he can do, that's all he can do, man. At this point, that's like your second best play, and they were running it quite a bit tonight. And then the defense is unbelievable, and it has completely changed the way you look at this team and honestly the ceiling. I mean, the stats don't jump out to you. 15 minutes, 6 points, only 2 rebounds, but let's to go along with 3 steals and just absolutely hounding these dudes for legit 90 feet down the court. And he's like, you're gonna have to work for everything when you play against Dom and this team. And man, it worked. And shout out to coaching staff for finally giving him a chance. Was it injuries kind of forced their hand? Maybe. But man, that lineup of just like defensive freaks and then Rob and AJ, or even if you want to go full defensive freaks with Moo, Dom, Boop, Kaba, and AJ, like that's it, man. You found it. I really don't want to see anything else unless Kostic is really feeling it. That's everything. Seven guy rotation right there. You figure it out.
I'm okay with Kostic coming in, because if he comes in and he's hot that night, all right, let's let it fly. If he's not hot, all right, then you go on the bench. That's fine. Let's run 6-7 guys, and that's it. I think that's it. Like that, they're going into March Madness. I think they finally figured it out. And look, thank goodness the Big 12 tournament's the thing. Thank goodness they actually got to play on Tuesday, because imagine if they would have had a double bye and they faced like a team like Iowa State. But if they had a double bye, that means they probably would have figured it out a little sooner. So regardless, It doesn't matter. Another thing I wanted to bring up too, with a game like this, with guys like Dom and Moo having big time games and finally finding themselves and being successful in this offense. I mean, you would have penciled those guys in as more likely portal guys going into the offseason about 2-3 weeks ago and whatnot. And like I always say, in college basketball, whether it's recruiting, whether it's confidence, whether it's whatever it may be, things change really, really, really fast. And all of a sudden, let's say BYU keeps this confidence rolling into next week into March Madness. A lot of things change with this BYU team and how next season looks too.
They legit just might be like, yeah, we were waiting for March. We were waiting for tournament hoops.
Well, we've been saying it all season. They resemble every ounce of an NBA team, where it's like, hey, Tuesday night in a city I don't want to be in, we're good. hey, hey, we're gonna run a lot of ISO ball. Okay, cool. We're gonna look like a Tuesday night league pass team every single most nights. Okay, great. Oh, the playoffs are around the corner. My life is on the line. I will die for this team.
Oh, it's March. I'm gonna score 83 points. Shout out Bam.
It's
No,
it's like it's like the it's like Santa's elves right around Christmas time. They're like, it's time to work, man.
like holy crap! No, Thanksgiving, we gotta get going. Um, something I noticed today, and it was only to the TV, so take for what as a grain of salt. I really felt like they were having more fun as
You could see
well.
you could see it in the post game interview, like right before we
Yes,
went live. Moo was on the sideline getting interviewed, and you could see they were actually so happy for Moo because guess what, man? He's had a crap season, and he hasn't had the season anybody wanted him to have or himself to have, and to see it finally come together for once, man, like that confidence can take you a very long way. I mean, right now,
very
Chase, I'm
long
here
way.
in Charlotte at ACC tournament. I just watched this Florida State team. This Florida State team has struggled up and down all season long. They've been hot as of recent, won 6 of the last 7. They came in and dog walked Cal tonight. All of a sudden, you're like, can Florida State win this thing in Charlotte this week?
Man, full little NC State on them.
But like, BYU's alive in the Big 12 tournament. Now, if
Whoa,
absolutely they are. They can go out and beat Houston tomorrow. Have you watched Houston recently? They take
I
tough.
have. Yeah.
They if it's kind of a dream matchup for BYU in some ways, where it's like, oh, you take really really hard jumpers and you take a lot of contested shots, and you want to slow down the game like crazy. Oh, all right. But at the same time, tomorrow's totally playing with house money. The rest of this tournament's playing with house money.
Totally.
Just don't get injured.
That's the thing. Like, I really think BYU's kind of benefited from playing with like almost no pressure and kind of a little underdoggy mentality. I know they were favored in both rows, both not rows, both games, but they kind of just walked in with nothing to lose, and they've got a little bit of their like swagger back. They look like, what does that even mean?
Is your father okay, Chase?
I don't know. He might be having a
Is he?
stroke.
Yeah, I was about to say, is he
I
having
might
a
have
stroke
to.
right now in the
I might have
comments?
to call him real quick, make sure he's all right. What does that even mean?
The doctor needs a doctor.
But I can't remember what I was saying. They look like they're having fun. They look like they went to the Young Boy concert finally. Maybe DJ Khaled, had like maybe that's what kind of brought them together. But these guys finally feel comfortable. They finally feel like a real team that has camaraderie, and it helps and is really the driving force when you have guys step up. Like you can tell that they all love Dom and are happy for him. They're all happy for Moo. Like and you see those guys give effort in the dirty things, like Dom getting steals, Moo playing like super intense defense, and then of course it helps when you find out that French Dom like might be the second most athletic person to ever play for BYU behind Keba Keita, and he's just throwing down windmills in the open court with a dude on his hip. Like that usually gets the people going, and it sure did tonight.
It goes back to our interview with Justin in the offseason where it's like, he's
Mhm.
like, hey, he's going to make some of these plays that you've never seen another player in a BYU uniform make. And it took us until the Big 12 tournament, Chase, but he did it. I mean, that windmill was sick. He's like that layup he had against Kansas
Filthy.
State last night was unbelievable. I want to get back to this point from Blend Beast in the chat right now. He said, I'm glad this coaching staff decided that we aren't a shooting team, and so we'll win from the line, defending and rebounding. I think it's a great point. I think you just found your guys. I think that's the biggest part of it, where it's like, I don't know if it's necessarily by design. I think they were trying to play to people's strengths. Like you can't be a bruiser type team with Boscovich and Kostic and Maruss out there. Like you have to be more finesse, jump shooting type team. When you bring in Boop and Diamande and you have these crazy athletes, then you can muck it up and wreak havoc on the court.
100%. It was pretty obvious that the plan going into this season was like we have one of the best players legitimately in the world. We have a point guard who can get to the rim and find guys. So like let's just build a bunch of shooters around it. Did not work. Did not have your shooters, and the ones that you did have both went down with horrific leg injuries. And so shout out to them for reinventing this. Like I was trying to, we were both saying last night, like, man, if no one else is making shots, like what do you have to lose playing Boop and Dom at this point? And the answer is you don't have anything to lose. In fact, you have stuff to gain, and they've gained it, man. And there's still moments, right? there's like 3 minutes left. Boot puts up a three. KY immediately starts chewing him out and subbed him out and was like, that is not your shot. That is not the play. That is not what we're trying to run. But then he got right back in and played what he knew was in himself. And they've finally built a complement around AJ that actually does complement him and no longer makes him have to carry. He has to do a lot of scoring. He has to have the ball in his hands a ton, but in unconventional ways, not the ones that we might have thought. They figured out how to help him and finally give him a little bit of a break in some instances.
BYU, aka also.
Well, I mean, you did it in all caps, and there was 0 spaces in there, brother.
Cracking me up. I want to get to this point from Benchwarmer in the chat. Matchups with Houston. Stick Boop on Fleming, similar to Anderson. AJ on Sinak. I think Benchwarmer knows ball because I want to see Boop, or I wouldn't hate a little Diamande action on him as
French
well.
Dom. Yeah, that's definitely the move. But I also think we see a lot of it with Texas Tech where they're just going to switch everything. Like if they want to go ahead and bring up their 5 and put K. Bakeda on Kingston Flemings, I think BYU is going to say, all right, go for it. Let's see what you got. Kingston Flemings is so good that I think he'll still find ways to score, but I think it's still going to be tough. And they're going to force Houston. But you said earlier, Houston loves one-on-one ball. They love taking tough shots. And if you can just make those even harder, then that's the game plan. That's the lineup. So like, look, Kingston Flemings, you want to cook K. Bakeda and take a step back, 17-footer. By all means, brother, because that dude's 6'9", can jump out of the gym. It's going to be a tough shot no matter what. And if you make it, so be it.
Wise Gamora saying Andy Reid is good luck. Get him courtside tickets tomorrow. He better be there tomorrow. Andy. If he's not there tomorrow and they lose, this is all on Andy Reid.
All on Andy Reid. Yeah, we'll write a hit piece on him if that happens. Because yikes.
From our guy Ben Hammond said, seeing all I need from this team to believe they can do something next week in the NCAA tournament. Will they make it to the second weekend? No idea, but I at least have reason to believe next week, and that's all I want. I think this is a great point.
It's an immaculate point, Ben. Comment of the night goes to Ben Hammond because I think that's awesome.
I'm going with Dr. Rogers. I'm going with BYU, aka NBA.
No. I'm sticking with Ben.
I want T-shirts made.
No, that's a really good point because we talked for a long time about feeling pretty down about this team. What can they do? What can they do? Maybe. And now those maybes feel just a bit more optimistic. And we were kind of like, look, this team's so talented. They could beat anyone. They could do all this stuff, but they just weren't showing it to us. Now they've shown it to us, man. And I absolutely agree with Ben. We have reason to believe next week.
Yeah, and going into the Big 12 tournament, that's kind of like all you could ask for with this team. Just be like, hey, give fans a reason to believe why this team can actually do something. And they have. Look, if they get blasted by Houston tomorrow, whatever. I don't care. As long as everyone's healthy, that's all that matters. You've done what you needed to do. I think they locked up the 6th seed tonight as well.
They did lock up the. They could get blown out tomorrow, and I could say that was by design. Like they want to get back home because playing four games in 4 days is no joke. And if they win tomorrow, they will have to go play a 4th against.
Yeah, and if they win tomorrow, I'm gonna be thinking, let's win this thing in Kansas City.
Yeah, then it's like you're all in. You're all in. But we talked about what was the ideal scenario. It was win this first 2, get revenge on West Virginia, and then go ahead and bow out and head back home, locking up the 6th seed. And that's what they've done.
To the NBA point, it weirdly feels like, like at the end of the season when these teams are starting to jockey for position where it's like, I don't want to face that matchup. Like this year in the NBA, I feel like teams are going to want to face the Lakers. So they're going to, get a little matchup. They're going to be like, hey, let's lose some games so we drop in the standings so we can get the 3 seed so we can play the Lakers as the 6. BYU has done this to the point where it's like they've done the bare minimum to get the best possible scenario where it's like, I'd much rather be a 7. Or I don't want to be a 7 playing in the 2 seed in the next round, and I don't want to be a 8-9 5-4 playing a 1 seed in the first 2 in the through the Sweet 16. If you're the 6th seed, these 3 seeds this year are so vulnerable. The 3 seeds right now, as it stands, according to Fielding the 68, are going to be what? Purdue, Gonzaga, Nebraska, and then throw in another team, maybe Virginia if they make a run in the NCAA tournament. That's been my call all season, is that we're going to get Virginia BYU in the second round of the NCAA tournament. Dallin Hall revenge game.
Little Dallin Hall revenge. Yeah, you're right. It's so ideal. And I see some people in the chat maybe talking about, hey, like if 5 seed in play. I really don't think it is. Even if they won the whole thing, they try to say that they don't take conference championships into account. But also it's better to be the 6th seed, because if you're that 5 or 4, then you're on a one-way train to the 1 seed. And I just don't think that's ideal.
So. Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's 6 seed. That's what it is at this point. And because, I mean, we saw it last year. Like, Louisville went to the title game in the ACC, and Michigan won the Big Ten title, and neither of them were rewarded for that. I know they say they have contingencies set up if they win this or whatever. No, it doesn't matter at that point.
I mean, especially because BYU was teetering on the 6 anyway. Like,
I don't want a 5. 7. I don't want a 5 seed.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but yeah, BYU truly has hope now. And doesn't it get you so much more excited for next week, Chase?
So excited. Like, now, I mean, this is the first 3-game winning streak since January 14th, when they beat like Arizona State, Utah, and TCU, when they were at that point only had 1 loss and they were going into Texas Tech. This is the first time they won 3 games since then in a row.
Rumors are swirling right now, Chase. Let me check my phone. Read some chats and I'll get back to it.
There's some awesome ones while you check up on some rumors. This is really, really funny. What y'all doing if AJ come back and play with Bruce Branch? Probably fainting, because that'd be awesome. It's not happening though.
Probably, I think, pigs would be flying.
Pigs would be flying. Yeah. I'd also be ticked at AJ. Like, what are you doing? I was supposed to root for you.
Before you keep going with the chats, let's just say these puppies haven't been canceled yet. This is a Marriott.
Oh no.
Let's just say they haven't been canceled. I don't know.
Some reservations for some certain destinations.
I don't know. Just point it out there that they haven't been canceled.
Some hotel bookings if you're listening to this pod.
Hotel bookings in the state of Indiana. They may or may not be in Indianapolis the weekend of the Final Four.
Someone should put a compilation of us going, this team is so broken, to us being like, hey man, I haven't canceled the Final Four tickets.
Okay, Chase, I got a bone to pick with you.
With me?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you remember our predictions from last night? Someone said this game was going to be played into the 80s.
I was wrong. You said the 70s. It really isn't that much better, buddy. All right.
You said West Virginia.
I just watched BYU score the most points ever in a Big 12 tournament game. So I was kind of taking that into account a little bit.
You said West Virginia was going to score 81 points. When was the last time they scored 81 points? I'll get stats department on it. Read some chats.
I'm getting stats department. I don't trust you. I think you're going to lie. I mean, they scored 90 against Little Rock, 86 against Mississippi Valley. They scored 86 against Kansas, Karter.
Oklahoma State was the last time. They scored 84.
I'm happy to be wrong. You said it in the 70s, so I really don't want to hear it. But we both predicted BYU win, so we'll take that. Booth had an awesome comment that I can't find. Something about
Kinley
Ahmed.
said more likely to be in the starting lineup next season. AJ or Joseph Smith?
It's honestly more likely they find a kid named Joe Smith.
I was going to say, I think they find a kid from like Pleasant Grove named Joseph Smith.
Yeah. And it's like, oh yeah, no way. Coincidence. Let's see here.
AJ's mom said he must get his degree. Don't discount this.
Book of Mormon is his favorite class.
We said it a few weeks ago. He signed up for class. He signed up for John By the Way's religion class. So take that for what it's worth.
Yeah.
For the fall semester. Yeah, totally.
This is a good question that I've been thinking about. Any reason why KY hasn't played Dom all seasons from Parker Johnson?
I mean,
I have zero idea.
Yeah, it must be what they've seen in practice, though. Like, once again, we're not in there every day, and so I trust the staff. And I mean, they didn't
even give him a look when all hope was lost. They didn't even give him a chance.
Yeah, well, and I think it goes back to an earlier comment where someone, I can't remember who it was, probably Blend Piece, or Bench Warren, I can't remember. they were saying that like BYU figured out its identity of being a defensive team, which we've said all season long that hey, they need to be a muck it up defensive team, wreak havoc, get out in transition, also start passing the ball in transition. That would help a little bit too, but that's a different point. But I think when BYU is going through that skid so much and you lose a guy like AJ and Dawson Baker, I think the natural instinct of this coaching staff is to look at, okay, we need to fill that natural role right there of a shooter, someone who can replace that kind of jump shooting to spread the floor for guys like Rob and AJ. And BYU doesn't necessarily have that. And so therefore, you're kind of just banging your head against the wall. And then you're like, oh, well, what if we tried this? And turns out it worked with Diamande and Boop.
And look, I don't blame him a ton because it was pretty counterintuitive. Like these guys can't
Yeah.
shoot, they miss their free throws. They're just not well-rounded offensive players, and I hope I'm not offending them if they hear this. But they're amazing at everything else. They bring so much energy. They are incredible defenders, 1 through 5, honestly. And Dom with the steals, and he can fly and absolutely dunk the ball, and Boop can rebound like no other. Excuse me. It just seems like a classic case of maybe they overthought it a little bit and was just like, where's the offense? Where's the offense? Where's the offense? And have now learned like your offense is wrapped up into 3 guys, and it's awesome with these 3 guys. So let's just surround every other thing that we do with these great defensive guys who are going to bring energy off the court. There may come a time when it comes back to bite BYU and look, Boop is like 20% from the line on the season. That's not going to help because, what happens with teams realize that, start to foul him or whatever. Maybe you kick it to Dom for an open corner 3 and he missed. Maybe that does come to bite you in the butt. But right now, it's absolutely working, and they need to keep doing it.
From Parker Johnson in the chat and said, "Will Dom transfer?" If you'd have asked me a week ago, I would have said, "Yeah." I mean, why would he not? Once again, man, these things change really fast. Let's say BYU has some more success, goes on a little March Madness run. You never know. So, but if you'd ask if you'd asked me a couple weeks ago, I would have said, yeah. Now I think it's totally 50-50.
Totally. And what's turned into like, man, KY's had a rough year is it has turned into, is this one of the better coaching jobs we've seen?
He's just going to rope a dope everyone.
Yeah. That's how quickly these things change. Dom is this year's Trey Stewart.
I don't
hate the comparison. Trey was a little bit more consistent from 3 for sure. But Dom does everything else that Trey was doing. Yo, Batman, come join me in the Book of Mormon class next semester, AJ, to Bruce Branch. Let's see. Jonas says bench players play defense while most of our starters play offense only, which is honestly pretty true observation outside of like Kebakeda. But they went with Kostic with the start, but he ended up only playing 17 minutes, and they decided to just throw in those other guys for 15 minutes a piece.
Keba has been fascinating because it's I can't get a read on what's going on because in the first half I'm like, is he okay? Is he like, what is going? Is his head in the right spot? Is he getting migraines from the lights,
the LEDs?
Court? Yeah, the LED glass court in the Big 12 tournament, or is he just like, and then randomly he just turned it on all of a sudden? I'm like, I can't get a read on it.
I can't get a read on it either. He's probably just a big momentum guy. And he's like a couple things to go his way real quick. And that's what they tried to do last year in the beginning of this season is the first play was almost always a cable lob, and it seemed to get him going. Or maybe,
Kinley in the chat said, what are the halftime shows like on this glass court? Simon Says with captions on the court could be unstoppable. Have you seen Simon Says live?
No. What is that?
Oh, there's a giant game of Simon Says. I think rumors are swirling. I'm gonna go find out in the tunnel here in a minute. I've been messaging with old Simon Says, and I will be having him on my own podcast here this week. He's a halftime performer. We'll do like a game of like 60 people on the court at halftime of a giant game of Simon Says. It is absolutely electric. It is Red Panda's GOAT status. But I think Simon Says is on the Mount Rushmore of halftime performers.
I've never heard of him. It just plays. Brother. He just plays Simon Says.
brother, he hosts a game of Simon Says. It is elite stuff. I'll send you a video. I'll go to the court during halftime. I think he's doing halftime of the Wake Clemson game. I'll get that confirmed here shortly after we get off. And I will send you a video of it. It is elite stuff.
All right. I like the guy with the Chihuahua.
You like the guy with the Chihuahua?
It's kind of fun.
I like the guy that stacks the chairs and goes up to like the Jumbotron.
Yeah, that's good. Red Panda saw her live ballerina.
Did she drop any?
Electric. No, she went, was it 5 for 5? 6 for 6?
And they tried to say she was washed, Chase. They
unbelievable.
tried to say she was washed.
I just don't know ball.
They don't know ball.
They know. Go ahead.
No, sorry. I accidentally put up a comment. You go ahead.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a sec. Blenby says, I know we won by 20, but this never call a foul for AJ thing is getting a bit old.
Yeah, I saw someone else in the comments talking about the refs being inconsistent in this tournament. And usually I try to look at this very neutral, like, okay, sometimes, because there have been a lot of times this year where I'm like, man, AJ got lucky with that call. And I felt like he got that early on in the Big 12. And then I felt like they had just a refs only meeting somewhere in this country, probably in Kansas City. And it's like, look, guys, quit falling for AJ's pump fakes. Never call a foul on AJ Djemba ever again. And now he's not getting calls in the same way. I mean, he only took 6 free throws tonight, and BYU only took 10 total in this game. And it's not like BYU was settling for a bunch of tough jumpers. BYU only took 18 threes in this game. They were continually trying to drive to the paint. They were getting body. There was a lot of missed calls in this game. West Virginia likes to play physical. I understand you can't call everything, and that's fine. But yeah, I was shocked at the whistle AJ got tonight. But credit to him for not, letting it totally affect his game. And that's what we talked about that last night going into this one. It's like, we saw it in West Virginia. We saw it in Morgantown when he did that. In this game tonight, I just didn't want to see him just get in his own head.
Yeah. He keeps his cool really, really well with the refs because they're definitely officiating him differently than everyone else.
I need like a video of all these BYU fans, like the wives of people that are watching and listening to this right now. Film your husbands when AJ's driving to the basket and doesn't get the call, because how many times have you have BYU fans probably just been screaming at the TV, what the freak? And how is it not a freaking foul?
Yeah, exactly. Our resident ref, Doug, says my thought process was AJ wasn't even complaining as much as usual, and they still wouldn't give him a whistle. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, he should get fouled nearly every time. Or they should be calling it, I should say. But
yeah. Also, once again, the glass court, a lot of slipping going on.
A lot of slipping. I'm shocked there hasn't been a horrific injury yet. Knock on wood. I hope it doesn't happen to anyone.
I'm not anti-glass court, because I do think some version of that is the future, but I think it was a little too soon to bring it out for like a big deal like this. Like, yo, let like the WCC do a glass court.
Could we let the Mountain West test this thing out before we brought it to the
Mountain West
leagues?
Is too good for a glass court. Us, the WCC. Mountain West is better than WCC.
Yeah, it is. It's deeper. But it won't be anymore because the defunct Pac-12 is poaching everything. Let's go here. Let's see. Adams asks, let's say BYU wins tomorrow. What is the recipe on how they get it done?
Excellent question. And this is a great way to talk about tomorrow's game as well. I think the way you get it done is, once again, you speed up Houston a little bit. And if AJ gets some calls early, you get him into foul trouble. I don't think this Houston team, their rebounding rate isn't the same as past Houston teams. That's what's missing with this team, is all those previous Houston teams. Look, I think the offense is the exact same. Like, I think they have the offensive talent. I think this team actually has more offensive talent than a lot of past Houston teams. They always took tough shots. They always made tough shots. It's on the defensive end where I think this Houston team isn't at that same caliber this year, where you can actually get them on the glass this year. You can actually kind of be a bit more physical with them. They're not as physically dominant, especially underneath, and their bigs aren't scoring in the paint like they normally do. And a guy like Chris Sinek, he wants to step out and shoot threes and play a little bit more finesse game. And so I think that plays into BYU's favor a little bit more. Obviously, Houston beat BYU last time, But I think BYU gives them a game tomorrow. You're going to need to see a big-time AJ game. And once again, I want to see Rob really control the tempo of this game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be huge. I think the refs early on are going to really play a big role in this, as much as I hate to say that. The refs should never be a
Yeah, but when you
storyline.
play Houston, like if they call it
Yeah.
tight early against Houston, but then you see kind of what happened tonight where it was like West Virginia, in the second half, they like BYU had committed 6 fouls and West Virginia had committed like 1 or something. And then they started to even them out immediately after. All of a sudden, like you'll see it try to even itself out and everything. But it's a good point what you're saying, because like if they're calling it tight, AJ should be at the line minimum 10 times.
Minimum. And he shot 12 against Houston last time in Provo. The team shot 28 free throws, Carter. They only made 16 of them.
BYU?
In the last matchup against Houston. Yeah. 16 of 28, 57% from the free throw line.
16 of 28 at home. And if I remember correctly in that game, I want to say 2 or 3 of those were front end of 1-and-1s as well.
Yes, I would not be shocked. So left a lot of points on the board. That's just how Houston plays, man. And for a team like BYU, who has a savvy point guard in Rob Wright and the number one, foul shot shooter in the country in AJ Dybantsa, they should be getting to the line here. I think despite whatever the refs, I mean, there's 100% chance we get Padilla in this one. I mean, did you watch that Cincinnati game at all? I mean, it was all about him, brother.
Well,
this is his tournament.
I turned off we're in the, like, we were getting ready to, Rob was getting ready to interview Pat Kelsey or whatever. And then I was like, I'll turn on this. He was taking forever. And so I was like, all right, let's turn on the Cincinnati UCF game. And I was like, it's a 6-point game since he's got this in the bag. And then that's one of the worst collapses I've ever seen. I mean, Chase, the backcourt violation or the 10-second call, whatever it was. Like, if you're Wes Miller, you're just sitting there like, that's what cost me my job. It's because someone couldn't cross the line.
Yeah, for not punching Padilla in the face too, because I don't know if you saw that last possession in regulation, but Miller is screaming for a timeout. He should have had the timeout with about 3 seconds left. They gave it to him with 0.8.
Should refs have to wear refs should have to wear hearing aids, right?
Hearing aids, like, let's throw body cams on them. Like, I'm down for anything.
Can we do a Jeopardy buzzer? Like, you're just doing the clicker. Like, I want my timeout.
Well, here's a really messed up part.
Vibrates the ref.
Yeah. Okay. We might have to cut that out. This is live. I can't even remember. Here's the thing. What I hate about this rule is, like, if you call timeout, that doesn't matter in the video replay. They can't add time until the ref puts his hand up and blows his whistle. That is the thing they go off of.
It was
so if the ref's just wrong,
it was a solid 2-3 seconds too.
Yes. And so if you're West Middle, like, dude, I called timeout, like, your job. And he was right by him too. And then Padilla starts yelling back and he's like, I'm watching the game. It was an all-time show. Anyway,
wait, Chase. Remember, he's one of the highest rated officials in the sport.
Yeah. I mean,
so don't disparage Tony Padilla's good name.
Yeah. I mean, he's ref Final Fours and will probably ruin one of these.
Oh my goodness. Going back here, BYU needs to score 85 plus tomorrow to win. I do not think Houston will score over 80 versus BYU. I don't know. We'll see. Let's just see. This BYU team. Shout out Forrest Gump. He kind of called it with this BYU team. They're kind of like a box of chocolates.
Are they, or do we know exactly what we're going to get?
We never know what we're going to get.
For a long time, we knew they're going to start off awful from 3. The other team's going to make a few ones quickly. BYU's going to go down early. They just at what point in the game are they going to overcome it? And today it was very early.
Yeah, but then, like, Cincinnati, it's like, oh, but then, like, Texas
going into straight up suck.
Going into the Texas Tech game, you're like, oh, they're not going to bring the effort. They're this team, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh no, actually this BYU team figured out something.
Yeah, but they went down 13 because they couldn't shoot, and Tech made a bunch of threes. Like, that's just how BYU starts every game.
That one was different though, and you know that.
It's happened 25 times.
Yeah, but that game, they brought the effort immediately. That wasn't the same as, the Arizona comeback or something like that.
Sure. I mean, it wasn't. I'm not necessarily talking effort wise. I'm talking about just how the game's the first 10 minutes script is written every time. Um, but right now, I think Doug had a good comment and sums it up pretty well. What we're talking about. Can't believe we go from we won't win a tournament game a week ago to we can make the second weekend, and that's exactly where we're at with this team.
It's amazing what 5 days can do to change, an entire fan base's mindset.
Yeah, it's actually crazy, and this will be forever remembered as this bipolar team, and depending on what they do here in March, will determine their legacy forever. And I hope it's special.
Well, let's stay with that.
Yeah.
Like, what will they have to do in March for you to remember this team fondly? Because right now, I don't think you will.
I mean, I'm having a lot of goodwill right now towards them, but yes, they need to go. I think they need to win. I think they need to make the second weekend for me to remember them fondly.
Yep.
Because if they win the first as a 6 seed, okay, that's expected, especially now, the way they've been looking. And if they win as the go to the Sweet 16, then like that's always sweet. I think second weekend. I don't think anyone in the history of basketball, aside from like 10 teams all time, could be super disappointed in a Sweet 16 appearance because that's pretty special stuff.
Yeah, so, I think a lot more teams could be disappointed with a Sweet 16 appearance.
I mean, if you're UConn this year, are you like upset that you only went to the Sweet 16?
Absolutely. You are fuming.
All right, maybe that was a bad take by me then.
but okay. I had a bad take like 10 seconds ago before that, so.
About BYU. But BYU is a 6 seed second weekend because if they only won one game and then lost, I wouldn't feel awful, but because it would be to a 3 seed and all that stuff. But I would just feel like we wasted the AJ year. And watching him, man, is just such a joy. He's truly so special and gifted at the game of basketball, and to do it at BYU, I just don't want it to end. And so I'll be sad whenever it ends because watching this kid play hoops is legitimately some of the most fun I've had basketball-wise watching someone in my entire life. So
Doug in the chat said, do y'all think Richie going down maybe got more reps to other players where their confidence built up more and it's actually what the team needed? Yeah, it's talked about it a bunch where it's like these guys aren't on a short leash anymore. It's amazing what happens when you don't have the pressure of, hey, you're getting yanked immediately. Because you can even see it by the guys who are on the still in that position of, hey, if you screw up, you're getting yanked immediately. Like watch a guy like Abdul Ahmed or Boskovic or even Kostic at times. Kostic is a little bit, he has more of a longer leash. They want to see him get going. But like, look at Boskovic and Ahmed right now. They're still playing extremely tight because there's still some depth in that front court. And they realize, hey, if I screw up, I'm probably not seeing the court again for the rest of the night.
Yeah. I would attribute like at least 65% of this Moo turnaround to the fact that Richie Saunders got hurt. And it sucks to say that that's the circumstance, but he just has to be trusted a whole lot more. And like, look, you have to play 30 minutes tonight because we have no one else. So here you go. And he's made the most of it. And that's credit to him. I'm not saying he stumbled into this, but it's because of the Richie injury.
Well, then when you have no pressure, when you don't have hardly any pressure anymore, you're getting the ball in your hands more and you're getting more shots up and you're playing more. Guess what? How much easier is it to play basketball? He was in a position before where it's like, hey, he's getting 3 to 4 good looks a game and he's never getting the ball. And those are the only times the ball is going to be in his hand is when it gets kicked out to him and he's got to make that shot every single time. And it's just that's a tough way to play basketball. Especially because when early on in the season, when it's that one-on-one AJ heavy usage offense, you're not really going to touch the ball unless you get it kicked out to you and boom, you got to make that shot. All the pressure's on you. And if you don't, okay, well, we'll get someone else to come in the game.
Yeah. Right now it's like there's no one else coming in the game. So you stay out there and you keep shooting. And he's been doing this in the second half. They put up a nice graphic. I think he had 0 first half points yesterday, and then like 15 in the second half. Today he only had 5 in the first half and ended up with 15 the second half again. So 100%. He's more of a feel volume guy. looks better as the game goes on.
I will say, so there's an interview with AJ that's about to be put on the Field of 68 real quick, and word on the street is he talks about Kevin Durant and also talks about Drake May and Patrick Mahomes.
Drake May?
Drake May is mentioned.
Baby. Oh, I can't wait. That's
So,
like AJ and Drake May. That's like my two favorite athletes right there. Get a little collab going. Love it.
But talking about Jokic right now, give guys a longer leash. I like how they kept going to Moo even after he would make mistakes. Absolutely, you got to support your guys and let them go through that kind of stuff. And now BYU's BYU seeing the other side of that.
And just get the body language doctor on Moo, man. Look at him on the court, off the court, timeouts, everything. It's completely different.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. It makes me so much more excited, talking about this team, watching these games. Like, it's not even just that, like, the results are the results, like, whatever. The fact that they are just so fun to watch now with how they defend.
Yes.
Like, let's be honest, Chase, like, watching them during the Cincinnati game and the West Virginia game and Morgantown, like, it felt like, and BYU fans probably all can relate to this, it kind of felt like a chore watching this team. Heck, I bet most of these people listening to this right now are like, I turned off those games. And so, and now when you watch this team and you see the joy they play with, you see how much they care and the passion for. Kevin Young made an interesting point about that during that halftime interview, where he's like, you guys are playing like they're playing for something now. They're going for it and everything. And so you can definitely see that. It's just nice watching a fun team again, man.
It really is. And we talked about it. I'm glad we haven't had to mention it really in a week or so now. Attitude and effort, man. They're finally bringing it. It's completely changed this team around. Let's talk about tomorrow night. And we kind of previewed a little bit of what this Houston team is going to look like. But what do we think as far as predictions go? Carter, do you think there's a chance BYU pulls off the upset, or do you think we just end it here and BYU is fine with that? They head back to Provo, wait for selection Sunday.
I'm picking Houston in this one. I think Houston does take the win in the Big 12 tournament, because also I think Houston's in a spot right now where I think they need a bit of a morale boost and figure some things out going into the actual tournament. And I think it would do Houston a lot of good by getting a win out of the way in Kansas City, and maybe even winning the whole thing there. And I know I poo-pooed on Houston's offense, and maybe the defense isn't up to their normal standard of Houston basketball this season, but they're also still insanely individually talented. And they also showed that when they played BYU last time. I think what's going to kill BYU in this one is I think the supporting cast, I think they get a little cold from three in this one, and I don't think AJ actually gets those calls smart. We've seen this with Houston in the past where they start the game so physical as Houston does, and the refs are like, well, I can't call every single possession a foul, so then Houston's able to get away with it a little bit more. I think if you were frustrated with calls in this game that AJ didn't get against West Virginia, I think you're going to be much more frustrated against Houston tomorrow. I don't think he gets those. And therefore, I think Houston wins. I think it's kind of an uglier game, but I think it's fine. I don't think it's a blowout by any means. I'll go Houston 73, BYU 67.
All right. Gamora's not happy with you. Carter with the K picks Houston. I think you make some really good points. What's interesting is going to see if this BYU defense continues to live up.
And they should. There's no excuse. I'm sorry. Like, once again, this Houston team, they are more than happy taking contested twos and taking contested off the dribble pull-ups. Let them do that. Let them do that. Don't let them get downhill. Yeah. Let them force them to settle on those shots. They can make them. It can be deflating at times when they hit them. But guess what? Over the course of time, if they keep taking those shots, which they're more than happy to take, BYU should have a good defensive performance in this game.
I totally agree. I just said we're going to be interesting with Kelvin Sampson having 2 days to watch this BYU team play, and obviously the prior experience. I think they're just a little bit more capable and have better vision. It'll be interesting to see how they stick around with some of Houston's guys on the 3-point line when they've been able to kind of defend Kansas State and West Virginia and even Texas Tech as more pull-up guys. And they were just like, let's just make these pull-up threes tougher. Houston moves the ball a little bit better than all those teams. Texas Tech obviously is really struggling with the loss of JT Toppin, so that puts a huge damper on them. I think BYU needs to bring all that intensity if they have a chance in this one. And I also think they need to keep playing Dom and Boop to make Houston feel uncomfortable, to force turnovers and an uncharacteristically turnover team in Houston. And then offensively, yeah, they got to have a really, really good AJ game. Rob cannot be a sleeper, and Moo's gonna have to step up again and hit some threes. I just don't know if all that happens. Third game in 3 days, glass court, whatever you want to call it. It's just a lot to ask from a team. If they do it, we're gonna have some pretty fun conversations on this live. And if not, that's fine, because I think that in this 3-game stretch, they've done a lot to show us something. So I think BYU makes it really admirable and close, and I think they fight to the end. But I think at the end of the day, Houston with all the poise and with Kelvin Sampson and everything that they do they're gonna get away with this one. I'm gonna go Houston wins 72 to BYU 68.
That's like when your kid he's like, oh, I forgot to do my homework. Can I copy off yours? Just don't make it look obvious.
No. I didn't even listen to you.
I'm screwing with it. I'm screwing with you. No, half the time we agree on everything and say this. We see basketball very similarly, Chase, and that's a tough word to say. Going back through the chat right now, Houston will win. I think BYU can learn something from this game that is coming up and use it to train for March Madness. From Doug in the chat, would you rather make it to the title or lose, or just lose tomorrow and rest? Either way, for me, I think it's a total win-win. But at the same time, if I know for a fact, we'll get the bracket boys on this one. If I know for a fact BYU, no matter what the result is tomorrow, that they're a 6 seed going into March Madness, I'd almost be fine. I'd almost rather lose tomorrow and I want to be a 6 seed more than anything. And also feed me NC State, because I know they can shoot threes. I know they can get hot and everything. They don't like playing defense, and Will Wade told us that multiple times after the game, that our team doesn't like to play defense, and we suck at defense. The over-under in that game would literally be 190. I don't think that's a joke.
Yeah, it'd be something crazy. To answer Doug's question, would I rather lose tomorrow against Houston or go to the title game and then lose? To me, you either lose the tournament or you win it. Like, there's no second. Can you tell me who got second place 3 years ago? You gain nothing. I'd rather just lose and get the rest, come out healthy, and gear up for the big dance. If you gave me a chance to win it, then that'd be pretty sweet. But at this point, BYU's in I think a really good spot. They've clearly figured some things out. They clearly have their mojo going. We'll see against Houston. If they can keep it up, they'll have a really good chance to beat them. And if not, we'll get ready for March Madness.
Rumors are true about what Jack saying in the chat. He said Karter was in the NC State Will Wade hype video. Potential conflict of interest.
He was.
No.
You were hyping up Will Wade, man.
I am a Will Wade guy. Look, I think Will Wade once he finds a good old center in the portal, then this NC State team, you're like, oh, they're a 4 seed now. All they needed was a center, not a 6'8" guy that really can't do that much. But no, not a personal conflict of interest. BYU all the way. Not even close.
I love it. Gamora says, we're going to wrap up here, folks. I want to see 9 more BYU games this season. There's only one way to do it.
You're speaking my language.
That's right. I love it. Love it, folks. All right. That's going to do it for us. We've already gone an hour, and we got another game tomorrow to do. So we'll see y'all tomorrow night, Karter.
We will see you guys tomorrow night. I will be in and out tomorrow, so Chase will be running the show mostly. He might be going solo, depending on what's going on. Assuming Duke beats Florida State tomorrow, so we'll have to see. But update on that one. I'll try to get in as much as possible as well from the phone and in the bowels of the Spectrum Center right now. Chase, I'm near Con Knippel's locker right now. Isn't that beautiful to hear?
I mean, can you get to it?
It's like right behind me. It's right behind this door.
Are you allowed in there or no?
I don't think anybody's actually using the Hornets locker room. I think they're all using separate rooms. So
we might need to get a picture of you wearing Con's shorts. That might be legendary.
That guy, man. That guy
We'll
can
get
do
we'll
no
get
wrong.
we'll get the intern on it. We'll see if he can make it
You
happen.
see him take that charge.
I
for the
see
win.
everything Con did.
There you go. Anyhow, all right. Well, we will be back tomorrow. Very excited to see this BYU team. There's a lot of hope on the future for the future right now. And tomorrow we should be live. Everything should be back on X. So if you watch us on Twitter or whatever, that should be back tomorrow. Make sure to follow. Make sure to subscribe at Chase_Rogers here, at Karter BA, at Church Paul Pod on everything. And make sure to subscribe once again. Field of 68 Podcast Network YouTube channel. We'll be back tomorrow after the Houston game. We'll see y'all. Bye-bye.